Very much indeed, Lindsay. So as we wait on the Finance Minister, he's just with a busy engagement. I mean, I suppose an opportune time to just sort of take a look at the consumer-friendly aspects of this budget, Lindsay. I mean, number one, I think that the jaw-dropping moment was when the Finance Minister actually said that there will be no increases in the fuel levy, there will be no increases in the road accident fund levy. Of course, they still stand, but teams like the Automobile Association, OUTA, have called for a big move in terms of having some interventions on that levies, and I think that it will be most welcome. Of course, the petrol price is dependent more on just levies. We still have an oil price that's going up, and there's still an expectation that the petrol price would go up, but certainly something good on that front. Then, of course, personal income taxes, VAT. We already knew that these taxes would not be going up simply because South Africans don't have the muster or the stamina to support any increases, so that was good news on the tax front. And even more than that, what the Finance Minister says is that brackets would be adjusted to allow that some of the earners don't fall into highly taxed brackets. So there's some relief on that front. And still staying with tax, I think one of the big ones is that we finally got confirmation that come next year we will see that 1% drop or percentage point drop in corporate tax. The reason why that's important, because if you reflect back to SONA, you will find that President Cyril Ramaphosa saying it's the private sector that really creates jobs in the country, and incentivizing them by dropping that corporate tax. As I spoke to Isam Klanga there from the Alexander Forbes, he's the chief economist. He says it's a big move to do. But of course, beyond that, beyond just dropping corporate taxes, the slow movement of structural reforms is still something I'd like to put through to the Finance Minister when he does get back to me, and we do have a chat, because creating jobs is a big move on that front. As far as state-owned enterprises are concerned, I think that we didn't see those big chunks being thrown, but I think the Finance Minister did go to great lengths to say that, look, as far as Eskom is concerned, the state has to, in his words, do some magic to ensure that Eskom is relieved of some of that debt. Now, what shape and form that takes as far as the intervention is concerned, we still don't know, but that's another big highlight. The Land Bank has got a cut of the budget, so too does Denel, as far as the state-owned enterprises are concerned. And then the big one, I think, very often the concepts of budget revenues and GDP to debt, these are huge convoluted concepts. But I think one aspect that really stood out for me in this budget is the fact that the budget deficit, which is the difference between what we spend and what we get in as revenue, has been reduced somewhat. And that was largely because, again, we say, of that windfall tax revenue that we got towards the end of the year, and that was 180 billion rand, more than we expected. That's why you saw that continuation of the COVID-19 grant. That's why you saw some relief on the tax front. Whether or not that commodity cycle will continue, even the minister will concede that it's unlikely to rely on that. So we'll hopefully get the Finance Minister in a few moments from now when he chats to us, and I'll put through some of those questions for him. More from the Parliament precinct when we come back.
Thank you very much, Devan Murugan, and thank you to Lindsay there. We're waiting, of course, for Devan to catch up with the Minister of Finance, who finished us a short while ago.